You attend a UU church, it seems like every year there's a fundraising campaign to support the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee. What is the organization and how did it come to be? Find out in this episode of 3 Minutes in UU History. To tell you the truth, we actually covered a little bit about this organization in the episode titled Why a Chalice? But we were more focused on the chalice used in UU spaces, its history, and its symbolism. As a reminder, one of the early service committee leaders, Reverend Charles Joy, needed a symbol for travel documents to help folks escape the Nazis, and thus the chalice was born in 1941 via his collaboration with expat Austrian artist and cartoonist Hans Deutsch. But we have to go back a couple of years before that to get to the founding of the organization. In February 1939, the Reverend Waitstill Sharp headed to Czechoslovakia with his wife Martha to aid refugees in their bid to escape the Nazis. Now, the Nazis knew what these two Unitarians were up to and made their lives a living hell for the 6 months they were there, helping refugees escape. And in August 1939, the Sharps fled Czechoslovakia and returned to the United States. It was then, inspired by the story of the Sharps, that the Unitarian Church founded the Unitarian Service Committee, and the newly formed USC continued to work throughout World War II from 1940 on in this mission to aid refugees in escaping the Nazis. In the city of Marseille in southern France, another American by the name of Varian Fry was also attempting to help refugees to escape the Nazis via the Emergency Rescue Committee with the support of Eleanor Roosevelt. A reporter by trade, Fry worked with Miriam Davenport, an American art student who had been studying at the Sorbonne prior to the Nazi invasion of France, Mary Jane Gould, an heiress who had been living it up in Paris before the war, Albert O. Hirschman, an economist and academic, and American vice consul in Marseille, Hiram Bingham IV. So, with Marseille under the control of the Vichy French government, but the Nazis not in southern France yet, Fry and Davenport coordinated the escape of more than 2,200 refugees. The heiress, with the fortuitous name of Gould, funded the operation, while Vice Consul Bingham issued visas both through legal and illegal means. And then the economist Hirschman led the refugees through the Pyrenees to Spain and then on to Portugal. What does all of this have to do with the UU Service Committee? I'll tell you. Fry, being isolated in southern France, didn't have a safe landing spot in neutral Portugal for the hundreds of refugees he was sending out of Nazi-controlled territory. It was here that the Unitarian Service Committee took over. American Unitarian Robert Dexter helped the refugees to safely obtain visas and travel papers, often with the official-looking travel stamp of the Unitarian Service Committee that included the newly designed chalice, and then assisted them in obtaining passage from Lisbon to anywhere but Nazi-controlled Europe. In 1961, with the Unitarians and the Universalists merging into the newly formed UUA, the USC morphed into the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee. And over the last 60 years, the UUSC has continued work at home and abroad, advancing human rights and social justice. And that, my friends, is today's 3 Minutes in UU History. Thanks for watching. If you find our topics interesting, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and hit that alert button.